Aloha, beautiful souls. Welcome to this episode on A Better World with Adrienne. I'm excited to channel on an important topic that is both very practical and tangible and very spiritual. So, at the time of this recording, it is December 23rd, 2024, and no matter where you are in the world, no matter what holidays you do or do not celebrate, we are in the holiday season. And this episode is actually going to drop on December 25th, which is the day that Christmas is celebrated. And this year, it's the day that Hanukkah begins. And it's a very sacred time. It's a time when most of the world slows down in one way or another. It's a time when we're with family and we're celebrating and we're doing a bunch of like rituals and traditions. And I felt and feel very called to speak into how do you maintain your momentum through a holiday? How do you maintain your health through a holiday? How do you maintain your peace while you're on holiday? And so this episode is that transmission. I have a few key things to be thinking about, and it's important. It's important. The whole intention is staying on track with your highest self in these moments where it's so easy to get pulled off track. It's so easy to get triggered. It's so easy to just slip into bad habits. One of the things that I help every single one of my clients with is daily habits and health. And I never expected that when I first started coaching and doing healing. And then I realized, oh, wait, this is something that I have figured out that I know how to do. And I have a system that helps other people create their own system for it. And I didn't realize how much of a daily challenge this is. And so this was a challenge for me for years. I used to be very, very, very healthy in my daily life. And even when it was coming to like moments when I was on my path with stopping drinking and stopping my substance abuse addictions, I would be sober until I got with family, until it was a holiday. And then it would be like relapse. Then it would be like, oh, all my health went out the window. I just ate all the dairy, all the gluten. I ate way too much. And it would take me weeks and weeks and weeks just to get back to my baseline normal. And so, what this episode is a portal of healing and power and strategy for you to not self abandon this holiday. So, whether you're listening to this in the holiday season in 2024, you can come back to this episode anytime you're on holiday. So, if you're going on vacation, if you're going on holiday with family, if it is the actual holidays, this is your support, healing, and strategy and power to stay in tune with your highest self the whole time. So, with that being said, I'm excited to channel this episode. Let us call upon the altar. The altar is saying thank you in advance to Spirit for the opportunity, for the miracles, for the magic, for the up levels. We have 3 red roses on the altar today in deep worship and devotion to Mother Mary. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and literally the red blood of the womb that births life on our planet. I have my black moonstone sphere calling in the galactic frequencies, calling in the Lyra galaxies, calling in the Pleiades. We have angels here with us. We have archangel Archangel Michael here, purifying and blessing this space if I can speak. We have a white mermaid on the altar representing purification, representing swimming and the divine feminine. We have so many magenta flowers on the altar today. We have white carnations, we have magenta peonies, we have magenta Gerber daisies. And it is that blend between purple and red, the connection between the root chakra and the blood on earth and the crown chakra and the limitless knowing coming from other realms. We have an unscented white candle burning on the altar, purifying our space. And finally, the last piece of the altar, life force energy, the element of air. Wherever you're tuning in from, be here now. Soften your eyes and even flutter them shut if you are able. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. Inhale through your nose. Bring forward your highest self and keep holding at the top and feel your highest self hug you, honoring you, telling you you're doing an amazing job. Exhale out the mouth. One last inhale through the nose. Hold it at the top. Bring an intention to this episode. Keep holding. Why did you press play? What are you committed to? Are you committed to momentum, health, peace, all of it? Keep holding because you're strong. Exhale out the mouth. We are connected. The stage has been set. The altar has been activated. Gently open your eyes if you had them shut, and welcome, welcome to the official space. So, this is all about maintaining momentum, health, and peace on holiday. How do you do that? How do you maintain momentum? How do you maintain health? How do you maintain peace on holiday? On a holiday around family, on a holiday where everything's different, where everything's changed, where you're out of your routine, blah, 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 blah. People are always asking me, well, how? And people often ask me this similar thing about traveling. And a lot of times this goes in hand. It's like a lot of times when you're traveling, you're on holiday. Now, I have been going to Chicago once a week for the past few months, and that has felt like, at first it felt like, oh, I'm on holiday, oh, I'm on vacay, and now it's like more routine, and so I've gotten into more of a routine. However, the one constant I want you to know about, no matter what is moving in your life, the one constant is you. So just because you're traveling, just because you're in a different location, just because you're around family, or just because you're around different environments than you're used to, that's actually not a reason to quit the things that work for you. It's a reason to double down on them and protect them relentlessly. Okay? I used to be so good with meditation, and then it would be like the moment I stayed over at a guy's house, or the moment I was with staying with family, or I was on vacation, it went out the window. And those are the times when you need it the most. When you're around other people, especially family, if they're like people that activate you and people that push your buttons, like only family can push our buttons, right? And you're like, okay, I'm going into this, ecosystem that's uncertain and I know is challenging. By the way, I'm going to eat like shit, which makes you feel like shit, which makes you think like shit and make you have shitty emotions. Oh, by the way, I'm going to toss out doing all the stuff I care about to that's been building momentum for me. And so what happens so much on holiday is people just self-abandon again and again and again and again. And they drop their tools and their rituals and their foundations for life. And then you wonder like why it takes you a month to get back on track. Like, why do you need to detox or do a cleanse after Christmas break? Like, why? It's because it's not like, oh, don't have special treats and don't relax and don't, you know, maybe I know for sure I will have more like sweet things over holiday than I do in my normal day-to-day life. However, I don't go off the rails. And this is what I'm really sharing in this episode. A lot of people struggle with discipline. Discipline is self-love. And the choices you make over holiday are choices that impact your future self. Every single time you make a choice, you are either bankrupting your future self or you're investing in them. So, like every time I drink water or choose healthy food today, I'm investing in my health long term, right? Every time I break my own boundaries and maybe have like double the dessert I said I was going to, or I don't do my workout when I said I was going to, or I didn't do my breath work, even though just because I was around family and I didn't want to, make anybody uncomfortable by saying, no, I'm going to go do this while the whole family does that. Like, these are the moments where you are either building deep self trust with you or you're self abandoning. And I notice that this happens the most with travel and with holiday. Now, is it something that most people struggle with or have room for growth with in everyday life? Yes, 1,000%. And I just know this is a challenging time for people. So that's why I'm doing this episode. So I have 5 very specific things to support you in this. And the first one may surprise you because what I want for you is for you to move through the holiday season and move through any holiday and maintain your momentum, maintain your health, and maintain your peace. Really, those are like the cornerstones of all lasting success: momentum, health, and peace. If you have momentum going for long enough, you cannot help but be successful in your goal. Okay. If you maintain your health, you will always have a clean channel. You will always have a clean vessel. Like your vitality is the most important thing in your life. Your peace. And here's the thing about peace. There's a new book coming out by Trent Shelton. If you don't know his work, look him up. It's called Protect Your Peace. And he always says, protect your peace and demand your worth. He says, if you don't demand your worth, the world is going to sell you on wholesale. And I was like, oh, fuck. If you don't demand your worth, all the people around you and the status quo are going to define what you're worthy of, which is scraps, which is not, and protecting your peace from this chaos in the world and protecting your peace from things that don't bring you joy, don't bring you happiness, are not loving. Like, this is about boundaries, right? And having hard lines. Like, this is a yes or no. This is what I will or will not accept in my life. And the first person you got to protect your peace with is you. Because if you're the one breaking your own boundaries with momentum and health and being around things that don't bring you peace, that's a huge problem, right? And then we get into this loop of like, I don't trust myself. I don't respect myself. I don't love myself. It's all in these sneaky, sneaky moments. So maintain momentum, health, and peace on holiday. First thing, rest is productive. So I talk about this a lot in my podcast episode on spiritual endurance. That could be a really good one for you. But I'm not doing this episode to be like, grind through the holiday. You need to be on email. You need to be working 24/7. You need to be doing this. No. If you know anything about me and my work, I have done a weekly digital detox every single Saturday for 5+ years. It started out with just with strictly social media. Now it's mostly social media, or now it's social media and most tech. And I get to choose what that means, but it's very strict: zero, 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 absolute zero social media on Saturdays, and it's a bare minimum 24 hours off. Um, Rest is productive. Rest is not something that you earn. And when you think about yourself as an athlete, you're a spiritual athlete. You cannot endure, you cannot sustain if you are constantly living heavyweight all the time. Like, if you are growing, you need time to rest and integrate, and then you're going to burst forth and grow again. If you think about it literally like a day. Like we wake up in the morning and we live our lives and the sun is shining, and then at night we go to sleep because we gotta rest so we can do it again, right? Shift your idea. Like maintaining momentum on holiday is about doing things that are required, like needle movers, but it's also about the discipline to rest because rest is productive. And I know for me, I'm going to be studying astrology. I'm going to be with my calendar. I know every single time I rest and go into that space, I have a lot of fun and I get a lot of ideas. I'm an idea machine. I have so many, like literally, I have like 20 programs that I want to lead just in my brain and in my soul right now. And like, I know my first five books. It's like, my biggest thing, I think, in this life so far is being patient with the timeline of the 3D plane and acknowledging my human capacity for what I can do well at a time. Because I have all these ideas and I see things so clearly, and I'm like, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. And maintaining momentum a lot of times means you have discipline with rest. You have discipline with recovery. Okay. It's about trusting the exhale. This is important. This is the first step. How to maintain your momentum, health, and peace on holiday? Honor the rest, honor the season, be disciplined about your rest. Like, if you want to maintain momentum long term, you must prioritize rest. So, if you think about it like breathing, you have an inhale and then you exhale, right? It's about trusting the exhale, knowing that another inhale is coming, and knowing that this is very, very productive. And the only way you will maintain momentum in anything in your life, whether it's a goal, whether it's a goal for your job, for your career, for your purpose path, for your relationship, for a skill you're learning, like if you do not rest, you will burn out. So it's very counterintuitive. It's like, how do you maintain momentum? Protect your rest. Okay. Number two, and this might be a little strange coming out, but hear me out. I want you to operate in all or nothing thinking. I want you to operate in binary thinking. So it's just like Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. The thing that makes it different is you are going to define what that means. So moderation makes mediocrity. Moderation doesn't work. Okay. Moderation, I've noticed, is a sneaky little thing where people are like, everything in moderation, and it's just a low-key excuse to do things that aren't good for you, that you already know aren't good for you. So, what I encourage you to do instead is to be in this Yoda energy of do or do not, there is no try, right? So, for example, there are going to be days when I'm on holiday where I'm like, okay, yes, today I'm eating dessert. Like this is all or nothing. Like today is a dessert day, right? It's not like I'm kind of eating dessert. It's like, okay, I'm doing this. Or it's like at this meal I'm having dessert. And I'm going to frame a lot of this through food because food is it's such a universal topic and it's so personal. Or it's like what you put in your body is very, very, very personal. And yet it's the thing that people have the most judgment about a lot of times. Like I know for me, when I started making my own food around family, I'm from the Midwest. It was like I had to like train my family and train the people around me like, hey, just because I'm making my own food doesn't mean I'm judging you, doesn't mean I don't love you, doesn't mean I don't love our family because it's like, oh, you're not eating grandma's recipe and like making it mean this whole thing, right? So I'm going to use this example a lot because it really is very common. Like people are like on in such momentum with their health and then they have a holiday or they're on vacation or they're on in some celebration and they totally abandon it. And then they feel like shit later. And it's like, that's optional. You do not need to do that, right? So I want you to be in all or nothing thinking with this, but the thing is, it's not it's a different mindset where you just define it. So an example for me is like, I'm like, okay, today is a dessert day, right? I define it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have some of my coconut date, like you can get these dates that are rolled in shredded coconut and they're so good and my body does really well with them. It's natural sugar and I'm like, okay, yeah. After the main meal, I'm going to have three of those dates and it's going to be amazing. And it's like all or nothing, right? I'm like, yeah, this is what it means. I'm going to have three of them and I'm all in and I'm doing it and I'm enjoying it. And I literally get so much magic and joy out of it. I'm like, oh, this tastes so good and blah, 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 blah. And you see, it's all or nothing. It's like, yes or no. Am I doing this? Okay, great. If I am, here's how I define it. If I'm not, here's how I define it. Now, in the evenings, I don't like eating a lot in the evenings in general because we're really not supposed to eat a bunch of food right before bed. That's not good for us. That's very ancient, like going back, like our biggest meal should be in the middle of the day so we have time to digest it. Um, you just define it. So rather than being in like, oh, it's the holidays, what anything goes, it's like, no, anything does not go. You maintain your discipline, you decide and define things in advance. That's how you win, just like anything, just like the calendar command I teach, just like literally any process I teach any of my clients. It's like, if you wing it, if you decide that it's random, you can expect mediocrity. You can expect to not do well because it's not mindful, it's not precise, it's not planned out, right? And you can also plan out times that are more loose, like this. Um, so that leads into my third topic. And this is all about maintaining momentum, health, and peace in the holiday. So this applies to anything with peace. Like, okay, all or nothing. Like, and I'm just going to say that I don't know why this came through, but Uncle Sam. Okay. Uncle Sam might be someone who says really offensive things all the time. And you're like, yeah, I'm a hard no for Uncle Sam. Like, I like if he enters a room and says something that is deeply offensive, I'm going to leave immediately. Or maybe you're like, actually, I don't want to spend any time with Uncle Sam and I'm just going to do that right now. I'm going to say no. Like, you get to do that. You have the freedom to do that, right? Saying no to family is really important because what are you doing? You're saying yes to yourself. So, you know how many people like this seems like small stuff, right? These are the moments that change your life. When someone hands you like a piece of food that you know is, first of all, unhealthy, second of all, you don't want to put it in your body, and third of all, you would only be eating it to people please them. When you say no to that, you take your power back. And it's the embodiment of you loving yourself and respecting yourself rather than, oh, I don't want to make this person uncomfortable. So I'm literally going to hurt myself instead. I would rather hurt myself than make this other person uncomfortable. That's really what we're talking about here. And so while it might seem like not a big deal, these are the moments that like they make up who you are. And it's like, okay, from these places, then you go out and do the big dreams or you make the big moves. And it's like, these are the moments most people are not willing to traverse or traverse differently. I know for me, this is like So when I first started getting really specific about food and all of that, I would just take food and then I would throw it away because I didn't want to offend anyone and I didn't want people to be like pressuring me and because, you know, people say shit. They're like, "Oh, you're too good for us." Like especially when I stopped drinking, like, "Oh, Adrian's holier than thou. Like she doesn't drink now." And I didn't want to deal with those comments. And so I would take things and then I would throw them away. And then I realized, well, that's not my values either. And that's still me being scared. And I was like, I'm just going to say no and let the chips fall where the chips are going to fall. And I'm going to walk away with deep self love and deep self respect. And so you must be doing that within yourself first before you can do it and hold your own with others. And I can't stress enough, especially if you're around family, because they activate your nervous system in such a way like no one else can, where it literally feels like life or death. If you're listening to this and you're like, cool story, Adrian, that's actually really hard. It's because your body thinks it's life or death. Your body isn't seeing it like, oh, I'm just going to protect my peace and do my workout. I'm just going to say no to this family thing. Like from the surface, it doesn't seem like a big deal, but the reason it feels like a big deal and why it's so challenging is because your body is telling you it's life or death. Your body's literally telling you you're about to die. That's why you don't do it. And that's why the nervous system work comes in so big. So, all of this with love and power and grace. And the only thing that would change your life and change your results is if you make different decisions consistently. That's the only thing. I know it's like excruciatingly simple, but here's the thing, the things that will change your life the most are the most simple and the most uncomfortable. Spoiler alert. So, the third thing is you're just going to create a plan in advance and then follow through. Create a plan in advance and follow through. Again, so simple and yet not so easy to carry out. If you have historically just thrown everything out the window that helps you, that's good for you. So I'm going to take this other goal because I think it's fun. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling in 2025. Like a lot. By the way, if you're listening to this and you want to meet me in Sedona in March for the equinox, apply through the link in the show notes. Um, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be so epic. And then after that, I'm basically going to be I'm not gonna give too much away right now, but I have I have big, big plans for 2025. And if you are in North America and you want to work with me in person, you better be at the March. You better come to Sedona. Okay, so I digress. I'm learning other languages right now. I got Duolingo. I'm learning Japanese and Greek. Okay. It's really, really new. I'm really, really not good at it, right? I could over the holiday, I could just be like, fuck it. I'm not going to do my Japanese or my Greek. But what do skills need? They need consistency, holy habits, right? If you want to learn all about holy habits and that, do my signature program, 3D Moves. The link is in the show notes. If you don't see the link, email us, message me on Instagram. We will get you the link. It's not about, okay, I'm going to sit here on Christmas Day and I'm going to study Japanese for 2 hours while my whole family is having a meal. It's like, it's not about sacrifice. It's about selecting your highest self while you are in these moments. So create a plan in advance and then just follow through. I don't want to feel like shit in 2 weeks and be like, wow, I really like I'm back at square one with Japanese and Greek because I just abandon it. I would rather be like, okay, I'm gonna do it 5 minutes. And you could even do it like combine these things and make it a game. Like, okay, while I lift weights in the morning, I'm gonna do my Japanese. And while I wash my face at night, I'm gonna do my Greek. Okay, it's really, really simple, but you just make a plan in advance and then follow through with it. And that's how you know you're loving yourself. That's how you know you're respecting yourself. That's how you're going to maintain your momentum, health, and peace on holiday. And then after the holiday, you're going to feel refreshed and you're going to feel unfuckwithable because you had your own back the whole time while you were in festivities, while you were on vacation, while you were in ritual, while you were around family. It's the biggest flex ever. Okay, the next item is I want you to make choices from your future self. And so something this is not my opinion, this is science. Like how you feel today is a result of what you've done for the past 3 days. So all the food and water you have or haven't eaten in the past 3 days, your physical exercise. When we talk about food. There's also such a thing as brain food and soul food. What have you been consuming? Have you been consuming media and negative things online, or have you been consuming, I don't know, a spiritual text or a podcast that inspires you? Like how you feel right now is a direct result and a culmination of all the moments leading up to now, especially the past 3 days. So when you're making decisions on holiday, I want you to make decisions from your future self. So, your future self, let's talk about the you of like the first week, like the week after a holiday. Do you want to be feeling bloated, with brain fog, feeling like shit, totally behind on the things you care about, disoriented, emotional because of all of it? Or do you want to be like, wow, I had just the most amazing holiday. I feel so good. I had fun and I stayed in alignment with my values and my goals. That's what I want you to make decisions from, all through the lens of momentum, health, and peace. You can have momentum in anything. You can have momentum in health. And here's the thing, it's way easier to maintain momentum than it is to keep starting over. A lot of you are exhausted because you keep stopping and starting over. Stop, start over, stop, start over, stop, start over. That's why you're burnt out. That's why you're exhausted. Okay. What if this holiday you didn't need to start over? You didn't need to have a cleanse. You didn't need to go through this whole like detox period. You could just maintain momentum and have a plan and do the plan. And the plan can include extra stuff, fun stuff, but not just disregarding your values or your body or your peace, right? It's like just because it's the holidays doesn't mean I'm going to be around that toxic family member, or just because it's the holiday, it doesn't mean I'm going to eat a bunch of gluten when I know that hurts my body. So, how does this apply in your life? I can tell you if I ate gluten, I would be out. It would take me probably a week to recover. I came home when I was living in Chicago. I came home for a holiday. And in the grand scheme of things, this wasn't that long ago. I think it was like, it might have been like 2021. I ate like a lot of Christmas cookies, and they had real butter and real sugar and real gluten in them. And it was my grandma's recipe, and I wanted to eat them. I knew though when I was eating them that it wasn't like, I knew that it was hurting my body, but I did it anyways. And I paid for it. I was sick for a week. It took me a week after that holiday to feel like myself again. And I was like, that was so fucking stupid. Like, and I say that with love, but also like, you know better. Like, Maya Angelou always says, like, when you know better, you do better, right? And I was just like every time like the whole week after, I felt sick for a week. And literally the time that it took to eat those cookies was probably like 30 minutes or something. And it was like, oh wow, I literally chose like short-term comfort and short-term just like dopamine hit where I knew I was not honoring myself. And then I had a whole week of feeling really not good. A week where I wasn't serving at my highest. A week where I just didn't feel like me. I know my energy was off. I just like felt bad. And so the reason why I care about this episode so much is because it's been a really important topic in my life. I would say it was the last piece of the puzzle where I really clicked in my deep embodiment of self-trust, self-love, and self-respect was like, okay, it was like my life was totally keyed in except on holiday. And I was like, oh, this is where it is. This is where it is, and especially holiday around family. So, I want you to choose from your future self. What would make your future self proud? What's going to make your future self feel good? And it could be like, it's not always about restriction. It's like your future self might be glad, like, oh, wow, there's this like family recipe that I only get once a year. And like, it's not the healthiest, but I'm not allergic to it. And I want to have one helping of this. Like, that would be, and maybe your future self would be like, oh yeah, I'm so glad I did that. I'm so glad I just like enjoyed that. And we told old stories of like while we were eating it. And like, it's not always about restriction. However, it is going to be a more about restriction than most people are comfortable with. Because yeah, I hope this is landing and I hope this is helpful. This is a topic that I help so many people with, of course, because I had to help myself with it first. Um, so choose from your future self. What would make your future self proud? And have them say, okay, wow, I maintained my momentum and I feel healthy and I feel peaceful on the other side of this holiday. Not I feel in like a shame spiral because I broke my word with me. Okay. It's not about perfection. It is about expecting great things from yourself, though, and following through. And if this stuff is challenging for you, it's normal and it's required to transmute it. If you want a life that's going to contribute to a better world, you've got to be mastering this inner game. Finally, I want you to play the nervous system game and remember that all of it comes down to the nervous system. So when you're thinking about your peace and your health and maintaining momentum, other people that don't do this, that are around you, are probably going to have some reaction to it. You will have a nervous system response where it feels like life or death. They will have a nervous system response. So, like, anytime someone says something about what you're doing, um, it's important for you to just know that it's a nervous system game. Be like, oh, that's literally just their nervous system. That's literally just the part of their brain that's scared that is saying that to me. Like, it's actually not about me, it's their nervous system. There's so much power in that. And then for you, remembering that it's a nervous system game, you can really be like, okay, like, where am I convincing myself this is life or death right now? When I'm really just loving me and respecting me and trusting me to maintain my momentum and health and peace on holiday. So the final thing I'll say is have fun, be human, and honor yourself deeply. And this is going to mean different things for you. It's going to mean different things for different people, but my deepest intention for you in this podcast is to get really real with where you self-abandon around the holiday, especially with health, especially with your personal peace, and especially with momentum. And how can you maintain momentum through holiday? Whether it's the winter holidays, whether you're on vacation, whether it's any kind of holiday where you're around family or a family event, and how important it is for you and for New Earth, right? You are the thing, you are the asset. So I hope this served you. I hope this gave you a little boost of discipline and joy and delight. And you can have discipline joy. Like that's something I do every single day, holiday or not, is discipline joy. So that's this episode. I would love to hear from you if this landed for you, if this was helpful for you, how it's showing up in your life, what you are going to maintain your momentum with, what you're going to do with your health and your peace for the holiday and all holiday time moving forward. If you want to work with me, this is how deep I go with my one-on-one clients, and I'm enrolling new one-on-one clients for 2025. If this is you, if you want support in things like this, as you go into your dreams, as you create change in your life, go to the link in the show notes and apply for one-on-one mentorship. I am enrolling clients for full one-on-one mentorship, which is the total transformation. I'm also enrolling clients for breathwork immersions. The amount of change and uncertainty coming in 2025 is such that I am really, really focusing on deep dives in the nervous system. So you can feel safe doing things like this and resetting your nervous system. Because remember, regulating doesn't work, resetting does. Reset, make new decisions. Reset, make new decisions, right? The link to that application is in the show notes. Apply and book by the end of 2024 if you want to lock in my 2024 rates. They are increasing in January just like they do every single year. So you can lock in 6+ months of my 2024 rate when you apply and book by January 1st. And if you're like, okay, I want to meet you in Sedona. I want to do the energy healing. I want to do the land activations. Like I'm ready to get off Zoom and get into real life. 3 months from now at the March equinox, the spring equinox, we will be in Sedona and you should be there. So you can apply for that in the show notes as well. You should know that if you are one of my one-on-one clients, you have a special deal. Okay. My one-on-one clients get a special deal for the Sedona immersion. And if you want to do the Sedona immersion and you want to fuse it with some kind of one-on-one work with me, just denote that on your application and we will be in touch. All right, beautiful souls. I think that's all I have. The New Earth Astrology Guide is dropping on December 30th. Make sure you get that. The link is in the show notes. It's your resource for the whole year. It's readings for every month of the year. I'm very, very excited. I love you so much. Have an amazing holiday, a holiday of momentum, health, and peace that you deserve so very much. Let me know how this landed for you. Let me know how it goes. Keep this in your pocket for any holiday time ever. It's timeless. And go make a stranger smile because it matters and it's fun and it's amazing. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.